It's time to travel with Car and Key. We know exactly where your next stop should be.
One&Only Cape Town recently launched their Insta-Walks that take in the coolest cultural and foodie hotspots Cape Town has to offer. To tell us more, I'm joined on the line by Dawn Jorgensen. Dawn, good evening. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you very much for having me on.
So let's just start about where you fit into all of this. You are a guide with the company that actually runs this called Escape+Explore. They are the formal tourist guide company, and you are one of the person with all the information, all the insider information.
Yeah, I think that the partnership actually comes about with One&Only really wanting to give their guests something extraordinary, something a little bit beyond what most tourists would come to the city and experience. So they've partnered with Ingram Casey and his company, Escape+Explore, and then together with Seth Cape Town, who a lot of people might know if they're on Instagram, and who just posts these wonderful photographs of experiences and places that he eats at and goes to all the time. Him and myself, I'm a travel blogger, that we've sort of come together and thought, well, we travel around the world, we do a lot of wonderful things, but there's nothing like Cape Town, which we love so much. So we're partnering with Ingram and Escape+Explore, who are the official guides and who provide the drivers and all the back end. But we're talking with the clients and getting an idea of what they're really interested in, and then putting together an itinerary that suits that.
That's what I liked about this, is that you actually tailor-make the experience for the guest. You don't have, well, this is where you're going and this is where we're taking you. I mean, you could do that. But if they want to go to something specific, you can also make it just right for them.
Exactly. So what we're doing is when the guests arrive, they will be told about this as an optional experience. And they will then be in touch probably with me, and I'll find out. We'll have a little list. If it's a family, then they might want to, do something completely different to if they're a honeymoon couple or just a bunch of young friends. But the key focus of what we're offering is to walk the city. So with a lot of focus on walking Bree Street, which in Cape Town has just come to life with all these amazing eateries and lovely little hot spots and places to have cocktails. There are just so many special little places that you might not necessarily know about if you were visiting the city unless you had some local insight. So that, I think, is what we're going to try and do, speaking to each guest. What do they like? Do they like food? Do they want to have cocktails? Do they want to go for a morning walk, an afternoon walk? Do they want to go to the gin bar for sundowners? And then we will put something together and decide whether Seth or I would host it and work with Escape+Explore to fill in the logistics.
There was one thing I saw in a list of things that you do. You take your guests sometimes to an underground dining and art destination that hosts regular emerging artist pop-up events. I mean, that just sounds amazing.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what they're interested in. And the One&Only does have a specialist art tour, so we don't want to infringe on that, but we're more going to get you into those places, the upstairs dining or somewhere, really exciting that is, like Outrage of Modesty, who is doing cocktails that are just sort of going to blow your mind, or little places that no one's really heard about. Like there's a little place called Mulberry and Prince where the young people who run it have studied in New York but decided to come and set up shop in Cape Town, and the design is just so beautiful, and it probably seats about 25 people. So you might not know about that, and that's the kind of experience that we want to. We're calling it Insta-Walks because I think Seth and I have always got our phones out. We're always capturing the activities that we're having, the places we're at. And to be able to do that on home soil is really amazing. And to share it and to get the excitement of the guests and to sort of get them in on all of that is what we're focusing on.
One of the things on your list of things to do is this restaurant in town. It's all about bacon. I mean, what is it called? I can't remember.
Bacon on Brie.
Bacon on Brie, that's right, yeah. Yes. I mean, that is just the most bizarre thing.
I know. And Brie Street is so long. You can start at the bottom, and in the last, to be generous, 10 years, but those were really the forefront leaders of the development. But really in the last 2 or 3 or 4 years, there are so many wonderful places. You've got, Villa 47. You've got just around the corner Hemelhuis, which is always going to be a treat. And then you've got places like Bacon on Brie. So we can say to people, what do you want to do? Do you want to have a walk up and focus just on food? We can have, we can create some kind of movable feast. You can have something starting over here and a drink over there, and then let's go to the gin bar and try some of South Africa's craft gin. There's Honest Chocolate, which is right next to it. If you wanted to taste, a little bit of the different chocolate that is available, even learn about, each wrapper for each different crafted chocolate is designed by different artists. So, there's stories that go with everywhere that we're visiting. There's the Wild Olive, that's a little shop where, working with ladies on an empowerment project, they actually make soap and very, very high quality beauty products, and we can have someone at each place tell the story if we've got some lead-in time, or we actually know the story, so we can add that in, and then you can always arrive at your Bacon on Brie if you wanted to end with that, or backtrack. So a little bit of art, a little bit of shopping, but I think a strong focus on the food. I mean, we've got the new Short Market Club that has just opened. It's on top of House of Machines, so we're really spoilt for choice just on that route. We've tried to do it in 3 or 4 hours, but it's never enough time. It's just, we get delayed everywhere, but I mean, that's what you want.
Now, there's a restaurant or there's a little eatery place, if you like. I don't think it's on Brie. If I'm not mistaken, it's a laundry where you can go and do your laundry and eat dim sum at the same time.
Exactly. I love my laundry.
I love my laundry, yes.
It's such a quirky idea. I think people just get great dim sum, actually.
Yes.
Great. And just, you've got your ladies there and you can chat to them and they're ironing and you're having your cappuccino. And, it's just charming. And I think those are the idiosyncrasies that make traveling really special, and those are the memories that when you go back you can relay, and this is, I mean, as we know, specific to One&Only guests, but luckily they have this special which you may be aware of called One Escape, which is on until the 22nd of September, where you can get a double room for like just 3,250 Rand for a double room, which is extraordinary. So we're hoping that a lot of people are going to take that up, come and see Cape Town in winter. We can dispel this whole myth about what a terrible place it is in the winter months, and also show them a bit of an urban adventure while we're at it.
What has been the response of the guests that you've taken out on these walks?
Well, it's been quite new, but we've done a couple of groups, and the response has been amazing. We've even worked with some, local Cape Townians, and it's always lovely when, you discover new things about your own hometown. And we've had, Americans. We've had a lot of people that were visiting for the We Are Africa conference that joined us for the walk, and the feedback has really been good. And it's just very relaxed, and I think that is, a lot of people want to walk the city because you get, it's not all perfect. You'll have pavements and a couple of dents here, and you've got some shops that aren't developed, and there'll be a garbage bin. But I think
that's city life.
That's what you want. You want the people on the streets. You want the vibe. And in between, you'll these little discoveries, and that's really been one of the strong feedbacks. Is not only that they are visiting and experiencing places that they would never ever have found, but just how relaxed it is, and how safe they feel, and that they just meandering up the streets and seeing new things that they wouldn't have seen. So it's really, you can do so many things in Cape Town. I mean, we're absolutely spoiled for choice, but going on an urban adventure is something that not enough people were doing.
But if you're walking down Brie Street, never mind all these amazing places that you're going to, the buildings themselves are something to look at, because they're all those buildings are historic.
Yes, that's right. And I mean, one of the lovely things with Escape and Explore is that they even do things like street art. So, if we had someone who was interested in going on a walk and maybe seeing a couple of pieces or a couple of artworks by local street artists, then we could just fit that in. We did that with the one group. We were walking up Brie Street and then just went around the corner, and there was a Faith 47, who's one of our best known graffiti artists or street artists, and it just adds a little element, because would you go around that corner and have a look and know that there's this beautiful big piece which has a story to it? So, it's the buildings, it's the art, it's the characters that are behind it. It's bringing the passion and the heart of individuals who are choosing not to be in big shopping malls, but to be on this little street or this busy street, following their passion, and it's very infectious.
Now, doing this, I know you're doing this specifically for One and Only at the moment, but this sounds like you could branch out and do this for anybody who comes to Cape Town.
I think we could, but I think it's a one and only experience. Escape and Explore can probably design anything for anyone, but Seth and I have partnered with One and Only on this, and because we're both all over doing other wonderful things, for us it's just perfect. For me, it's quite grounding that I get to work in Cape Town with visitors. I always feel that it's such an essential reminder of how lucky I am to call Cape Town home, and I definitely get the sense of that. I love working with One and Only on any level. And so I think that for Seth and I, this is just sort of perfect. And we meet, they seem to attract the most wonderful clients, so that's always a bonus. Friendships are made. But I think that if anyone who wasn't staying at the One and Only or taking up this amazing special wanted to do something similar, they could speak to Escape and Explore, and they could probably organize an urban trip for them.
And I talk a lot on the show about discovering where it is that you live. We all travel about all over the place, which is wonderful. But we really do, as you say, need to explore the place we live and find out what is just around the corner, because, as you said, the most amazing things.
Yeah, I know. And, a lot of people say, oh, you're so lucky you get to travel. And I'm absolutely aware of it. But I think that I'm just the consummate tourist. I get excited and see things everywhere. And we should really train ourselves to appreciate things that are right on our doorstep. And, living in Cape Town, it's not too much of a challenge.
No, it isn't.
It's actually quite easy to do. But a little bit beyond the obvious. So, yeah, I think just, the Rand exchange rate is killing a lot of international travel for people. So do your staycations, give yourself treat nights, go somewhere special, and just add a little bit of an extra dimension to your appreciation of your city.
And wherever you live in South Africa, because there's something everywhere in this country. It's magnificent. So
and anything, whatever your interest, whether it is something like an urban adventure or nature or animals or ocean. I'm such a proud South African, whatever is happening, and I think we can't do enough to promote that.
Well, Dawn, I think you're doing a wonderful thing, introducing so many more people to the wonders of Cape Town and also to South Africa generally. So thank you very much indeed for that, and thank you for joining me on the show this evening.
Thank you so much for having me, and such a pleasure to talk about something so exciting.
I was chatting there with Dawn Jorgensen, and she was telling us about the One and Only Cape Town's Insta-Walks Urban Adventures. For more information or to reserve a One and Only Cape Town Insta-Walk, now you need to be staying there to be able to do that. You can contact the resort's guest services desk, and you can email zara.lochner@oneandonlycapetown.com. And if you're wanting to find out more about doing this, if you're not staying at the One and Only, get hold of a company called Escape and Explore, and they'll be able to set you up with the most fabulous adventures in the city.